Testing, testing. Is it on? Yes. Anyway, welcome, welcome. For those of you who are brand new, my name is Peyton 3.0, the EDM and drum step vocalist, Zombie Supreme. Although that's my brand, I can do many multifaceted things musically. Um, with the skills I keep acquiring, because I'm a warrior. Okay. Um, and I just keep going up. I just keep leveling myself up, leveling up, leveling up, leveling up, and that's what one of the encompassing things that I want to talk about today to you. Because if you clicked on this video, you're most likely a musician, rapper, singer, EDM DJ, whatever, trying to make it, possibly had given up and moved on, and your feelings. This is not a typical video that I would usually make, but these are types of videos I want to start incorporating into my other things, and I'm going to call the series playlist The Truth, because there's a lot of things that I actually had to say, a lot of facts and knowledge bombs to drop on people if they're willing to hear it. For those of you who don't know, I am a black gay man, right? And there's so many things and truths and realities and hardships and brutal things that I've had to endure, but we're just going to get to the thing that we're here for today, and that is why you will not make it, just like this man in the photo, and what it's going to take to make it in today's world. Okay? Most of you won't even get to this man's age before looking like this on the streets. Most of you will be very young, or maybe just hitting your 30s, and this is how you'll be on the ground. Disappointed, defeated, struggling, broke, and miserable with so many mental issues, right? This is about the brutal truth and no fluff. So if you're really still listen, please stick around. For those of you who do not care to hear this because you're still all up in your feelings, then you can leave the video, okay? But let's get to it, folks. So the first part of this is going to be why you will not make it, okay? Number one, most people today watching, the generation that we have today, Generation Z, millennials, they don't have tough enough mentalities to take on this beast, this animal of a cruel world that it truly is out here, right? For a lot of us, some people out here will be able to, get very lucky. Well, it's not really anything about luck, okay? It is the way that the hierarchy is set up in this human animal kingdom, that some people will always get ahead easier, more comfortable, depending on class, money, resources, color of skin, sex, a combination of those things. That's still the brutal reality, and the when you can actually realize that and face that and realize the cards that you have been given and know the cards you have been given, that's when you can start to make the mental shifts how to play this game and what it's going to take for somebody like you to actually make it. You might be somebody like me who has to try to be 10 times as good as somebody with more privilege. 10, 20 times, fuck it, 30 times more good. And I'm not talking about talent because talent ain't never been enough. I'm talking about some skills on here to acquire for you to make it. Because most of you're not going to go viral. You've been trying to go viral, right? You've been trying to go viral. You've been trying to be that SoundCloud rapper. You've been in your room. You decide you want to be an EDM DJ or whatever. You've been making songs and playing little venues around town, but you're still not really satisfied. Your career's not really going anywhere. And you're frustrated, and you may have been trying to do this. For some of you watch the glamour, the glory. You watch people go viral. You can't seem to go viral. You're frustrated. Some of you out there are getting desperate and doing some very desperate things that's still not working for you, and it's actually shooting you in the face from even getting off the ground in the first place, right? Um, Many of you do not have what it takes to make it. You don't have it. You don't have it, and a lot of you won't ever get it. You're going to be stuck. You're going to hit these walls. You're going to end up giving up early. The game is constantly changing, and a lot of you are not keeping up with the changes that are being made. Okay? You're not keeping up with the changes that are being made. So many of you are hitting brick walls, but you keep doing the same thing over and over again, and you're expecting different results. I'm sure you've had to heard the saying by now, and if you haven't, let me say it to you right now. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting great and good results is insanity. See, your friend down the street, the person on the internet you're watching, that's killing it, may have done the things that you have done, that you're trying to do, and they've actually propelled with those things, with doing what you're doing. But somebody like you, unfortunately, you're not going to propel forward with the same thing they're doing. Why? Because those circumstances are different. Like I said, class, race, resources, period. That's just the ugly, cruel reality of the human animal kingdom. And so you're going to have to try something different. You're going to have to gain some skill that can propel you forward. Even the people who have signed themselves to a record contracts, you motherfuckers still won't make it. Why? Even the people who know people, know how to talk to people, know how to network or whatever with the right people, and your goal is to get signed to a contract and not build it yourself, you still won't make it. Why? Because you're going to get in this industry, and some of you have true talent. There's a lot of you that don't, but there's a handful of us out there that have some true talent, right? But because you do not know the legalities of the business, you don't know the cruel realities of behind the scenes of the glamour and the money and all of that other stuff, and the bitches, for those of you who are male, who are heterosexual. You're not going to make it, because that industry is going to eat you alive and spit you out. You might be able to get one song out and get lucky. Most people don't even get one song, okay? And you won't have what it takes, because you don't understand how to actually work within the music business, because you're still thinking of talent. And as an artist, if you have any talent, a real talent, and a lot of us out there are not being real with ourselves, You're not working on your talent. You're not working on your craft. You're just going out there on the internet and you're just trying to gain this fame. So some of you are really fake musicians out there, trying to do this shit. Some of you get through the gate, but the ones that get through the gate and go viral and whatever, they don't really last. They burn out quickly. And then they do not know what to do with themselves. Right? They do not know what to do with themselves. Um, Getting signed to a record contract is not good enough. Getting all these followers, that it's not good enough, because these followers are fickle followers. It's not going to really matter. If your talent is not up to par, there's nothing to hold on to and sink people's teeth into for them to go back to a decade later, right? Because everybody's just microwaving these damn singles and just popping them out like it's nothing, right? Most of these artists today, they're not longevity artists. They're gonna be here today, gone next year. Here today, gone in 6 months, for the ones that somehow got some shine of 15, 20 minutes, 6 months of fame, bitch. Then people check out because they were not the right people, and you didn't have any real talent to begin with. Most of you hoes will not make it. Now, if you're still with me in this video and you are a person that can stomach the reality and the grim truth of things, we want to take a quick break right now. For those of you who are my regular audience, you already know what to do with this. You're already doing it. For those of you who are new and you may be you got to qualify for this. You may be into EDM. You're into electronic dance music. If you don't even know what EDM is, this is not for you. Okay? But if you know what EDM is, that means you're of the you are of the community. So go ahead and subscribe to all these. My website, right? Peyton30.com. Work very hard on that. Sessionslive.com/Peyton30662, which is a platform where you can go to create an avatar quickly, create a screen name, and you can request me to sing songs and do stuff live, you know? It's a fun time over there, okay? And all the rest of this stuff on here. Yeah. Alright, folks. We're going to keep it moving back to the reality of things. You're not going to have the mentality. Number one, you got to learn that I'm going to have to learn some skills. For example, for me, something dropped into my lap. It was a gateway to something else. And I started to learn things about marketing. I took online classes, spent my own money out here of these 9-to-5 jobs. $30,000 a year gross, $27,000 a year net working these jobs, right? $15 an hour, 16, whatever. And I spent my money on the email marketing courses. I spent my money on the marketing courses, right? I spent my money on the tax courses. Okay, these are the things I'm not going to be teaching you in your regular little brick and mortar school, right? High school. Okay, and just even all this free stuff on the internet that most of you people are not paying attention to. You artists, true artists, and some of you people who are trying to be artists for whatever reason, it's not genuine, whatever. I started learning some financial things, some financial literacy on these online platforms, most of it for free, right? Started learning how to manage my money, changed my life. Started to learn how to truly move things forward in income and things like that and whatnot. The brutal reality of things out here in this human animal kingdom world that we live in. Some of you are still coated in fairy tale dust of the bubble that you live in. I started learning things and I started going to all kinds of areas: science, technology. I was just getting curious and I was expanding my horizons. Learning things about space, life and death. Like I'm so much more well rounded in understanding of life, what this thing is, that my mentality and just being in Los Angeles for the last 10 years and that cool ass place of a jungle. I'm mentally I'm just stronger. And I'm even hungrier than I was 10 years ago. How's that possible? Because the more that I learned, the more fire in me raged up. The more that I learned, the more doors unlocked in his mind for me. And I started to achieve in my short-term goals. I started to open doors, knock things down little by little, by little by little, and that's what it takes. But if you're somebody that's stuck in the same place you were 5 years ago, still trying to do this thing, you're hitting your head on the brick walls over and over again, and getting frustrated and crying and saying, nobody supports me, nobody listens to my music, oh, nobody comes to my shows. Well, you don't have what you're not going to make it. You don't have what it takes to make it because you have not progressed past the understanding of what you have now, which is what you had 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's not going to cut it. Most of you do not have what it takes to make it. You don't have what it takes. Now that we discussed mostly about why you will not make it, let's discuss what it's going to take to make it. Number one, what it's going to take to make it, and just like any business, and most of you artists need to get into the mindset of business. You need to be online, looking at like channels, taking classes on business, period, to really give yourself the mind training of business, because that's what this really is. This is a music business. This isn't just about you wanting to be a rapper or famous or whatever, blah, 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 singer, EDM, DJ. It's getting into the mindset of what business is and conducting what you're trying to do accordingly, whether your goal is to be signed to a record label. And like I said, you need to understand some legalities before you sign a contract, because you hear all these artists out there coming on the internet crying about their deals and how they're being taken advantage of, and their masters being owned and publishing being owned, and the record labels taking all of this, and they're just slaves to the label. Well, yes, because they take advantage of these young kids. This has always been the case, right? Because they know that you don't know what you're doing. They know that you're desperate. Even if you have all these fans online. Even if you have all these fans online. And you're doing, and you somewhat seem to be doing great for the moment. These leechy record labels are going to come along, try to call you, try to swoon you with all this stuff that you'll be getting, and that you need them to go to the next level. You won't get there without them. You get pulled in, you're young, 14, 15, 16, 21, 22, 23, and you sign a dotted line without getting your own lawyer, not their lawyer, never use the label's lawyer, without getting your own lawyer, entertainment lawyer who knows this stuff, who has a couple something years or more in the game, and to look over that contract that you can't understand, or you haven't even taken the time to read the contract. So you just signed this slave 360 deal, whatever, where they get most of your money. And most of the money you're probably making is mainly just from touring. And maybe merchandise, but they're still getting a lot of that too. Right? They got a hand just like Uncle Sam. And some of y'all end up understand that you're gonna need to learn how to pay y'all taxes. Because when you become an artist, a musician, and you start making some revenue, see, most of you don't even know what the word revenue means. That's why you need to go learn some business. And a lot of this is free online. So ain't no excuse at this point in this day and age. I'm 37 years old. Do you know what most of the 37-year-olds are doing right now? They're not learning the shit that I'm learning. They're regressing. They're going backward. They're not here online, getting up every day and getting into the classes that are free, by the way. A lot of stuff right here on YouTube. Right here on YouTube. They're not doing none of that work. Okay? They're regressing. They're being swept away by the monster of society and capitalism. Swept away. But I'm just a different kind of bitch. Let me just tell you that. I'm come from a different kind of cult. And honey, once I caught the right lick, honey, that's when I started to focus. That's when I started to move. Shit. Right? You had to learn business. You had to learn legalities. You had to learn the music business in order to do this. You have to learn the grim reality of the music business in order to do this, or you're going to end up like this man that you see here in the picture on the streets, frustrated at his life. It's not just about the music. It's not just about being famous. It's about more than that. That you have to learn and do in order to really do this thing that some of you claim that you love. Right? The rest of you are just clowns out there wanting to get into the music game with no real passion or talent or anything anyway, so you don't deserve to make it. So it don't matter anyway, because you won't make it. Now, what it takes to make it is that you have to play, getting ready to play the long game. The long game. See, we're in a generation where people want handouts, people want things instant, microwave. They want to get rich right today, right now. You want handouts, you want it to be instant. Or else you get on the floor, you cry like a baby, you whine, and you get rolled over by society in this cruel rat race out here. Yeah. Yeah. You gotta get into the mentality of playing the long game. And how do you do it, especially if the environment around you is not exactly supportive? That's another thing that I need to mention. The environment around you will dictate if you can move too. So if you're not getting the knowledge you need to be getting, you're hitting your head against a brick wall, and the people around you don't support you at all, you have like no foundation to keep moving forward. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to do this. Right? When I can find nobody in my environment that can support me or knows or is with me on my mental level that I'm at right now, my higher conscious level, guess what I turn to? I turn to the mentors and the teachers and things on the internet to keep it moving, to remind me of what needs to be done, to remind me what a lion out here I need to be, to remind me of how much of a locomotive I need to be, how tougher I need to be mentally in order to really do this. See, I'm trying to do this independently. I don't really want to be signed to no labels because I already know the bullshit of the game. The fact that I can do this myself, even though it may take me a longer time to get what the ultimate goal I'm trying to get, that's fine with me. Because at the end of the day, I want to have as much freedom and also most of my money besides Uncle Sam and the control that I can get rather than signing to these slave labels. And if you got a good contract out there, it's obviously I'm not sure why you're on here in the first place. You got a good deal, that's great for you. But that's great for you and for those artists. But those artists are few, far in between. And I mean few, far in between. Okay? Most artists are just not, they're not making it good. They're literally slaves out there. They're not happy with their deals. They're not happy with the music they're singing because they don't have the freedom of creativity that they wanted. See, I'm a bitch that gotta have the freedom of creativity, honey. I got too much to say, and I ain't got time for the industry and the politics. I ain't got time for it. Okay? Yeah, so with that being said, you gotta be ready to play the long game. You gotta learn. You gotta learn. You gotta put your education back in. Most of us stopped learning after high school. I was guilty of it. I stopped learning after high school thinking I was smart, thinking I was wise. Bitch, I was becoming obsolete by the day and I didn't even notice it. The only people I was smart to were people who were dumber than me. That's the only people I was smart to. I wasn't around anybody that was exceptional and excelling. I wasn't around those kind of people. That was not my environment. And unfortunately, that still plays in my actual real life because the internet was not around at that time and not where it is today. Even today, I'm not around exceptional people. I'm around very average people. Still to this day. But what changed in me and why I'm such a beast today, regardless, and why I keep moving ahead and accomplishing little goals and little by little, it's because of the internet in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years have changed my life from all the great courses I've been able to take and apply. Like I said, this is not this kind of success people are thinking about, like getting all the fans and making the money, all these records. That's not going to come in a few months, a year, whatever, whatnot. That's going to be a gradual thing, but it's going to take consistency, constant education, and actually applying while you're learning things for the progress to move steady, right? Steady, right? For you to try to get to that long, big-term goal that most artists have in their head, you gotta know the actual steps it's gonna take to actually get there, right? Because you're not going to have the same kind of opportunity as a Justin Bieber. You're not going to get the Justin Bieber treatment. You're not going to get the Beyonce treatment. Right? You're not going to get the latest viral internet sensation Charlie D'Amelio treatment. You're not getting it. And that's the reality you have to wake up to. And it's time to start changing the way you move, changing the way you think, despite what's in your environment. getting on the internet and learning some of these great things that you need to learn, and really challenging yourself for these harder things to learn. You gotta change who you are. You gotta get ready because it's not gonna be easy. You gotta get ready for that mental change. If you're not ready for it, you're not gonna make it. You're not ready to grow and learn these skills and do these things you need to do on your own, you're not going to make it. So I'd rather, for those of you who want to do this, but you don't have what it takes, you're not going to try to attempt to better yourself in those areas and climb up on mental levels and skill levels, that you need to quit right now. You need to quit right now because it's just going to keep getting uglier and uglier for you, and you really are going to be struggling with some mental issues and things, and sadness and depression than what you are right now. See, I'm somebody that wants everybody to win because I'm actually a person that's actually still in the fight, but I'm actually making sense for me to still be in the fight because I keep leveling up. Despite that I'm not on a level of the long-term goal of where I want to be yet. But I am moving forward and achieving these little things that lead to other things that lead to other things. I'm actually progressing. That's the difference. You got to ask yourself, are you actually progressing, or are you regressing and you're just getting more pathetic? That's what you got to ask yourself. See, somebody like me, I'm actually progressing, and that gives me the green light to keep being a beast because I said, bitch, I'm going to do it. Regardless of the naysayers. And I did it. I'll keep learning harder things. I keep learning new skills. I keep moving forward despite the bullshitters in my environment. I don't give a fuck. I don't give two fucks what she got to say. I'm the motherfucking queen says king, bitch. And I decide my future. Not you. Not these hoes. But, if you don't get the mindset to start learning some of this stuff that's not out here for you, that you could not get access to before, you are going to be in the same place and hating yourself and hating people around you because you're not progressing forward. You got to progress forward. See, these are the things it's going to take to make it. And I want to end off with this. Most of you are not going to go viral. You're not going to blow up on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. It's not going to happen for you. It's time to get into the education game of education that makes sense. Because for most of you, I'm not sure what country you're watching from. I don't know if they really teach you anything about credit, money management, taxes, whatever. But I want to guess that they don't teach you that. Same thing here in America. You got to learn that on your own. And now you actually can see what wasn't available to us back then. It's now available to us now. But you host too busy watching cat videos and TikTok things or whatever and trying to be entertained by the internet instead of actually learning and education from people who are actually out there that are doing things, that have that information, and are now just giving it away. But the question is, what the fuck are you doing with your time besides working a 9-to-5 slave job and trying to record this music that ain't going nowhere? It ain't going nowhere. Okay? Because you're not learning the game. You're still stuck on trying to go viral and watching other people blow up. And you spend 5, 6, 10, if you're not lucky to get that far without losing your mind, 15 years, and you're still in the same mindset of watching those people like Charlie D'Amelio, Justin Bieber, and all them other people blow up on the internet. You want to be that person. You want to be the next hot SoundCloud rapper, the next EDM SoundCloud DJ. Those days are over. That's not gonna be your story. So you gotta learn the game so that you can play the game better and actually beat all those people who go viral, whatever, who can't sustain their careers anyway. They can't sustain their careers anyway. Okay? You want a longevity career. And you gotta know what it takes to have one. Many people do not have longevity careers in this industry today. There's a hot day today, but then these hoes are gone tomorrow. On to the next. The music business says the music business lasts. On to the next. They're just trying to make some money. They don't care about these people. They're just trying to make some money. The music business is actually a struggling business. Now the digital era has come in. They can't make money like they used to anymore. So they create these cockamamie contracts, like the 360 deal and all this other stuff, and lock these young artists in and spit them out when they're no longer viable because the next single is not hot. The next album ain't long enough. Ain't nobody checking for them hoes anymore. So they get rid of them and they get the next hot thing smoking. That's the game. That's the cruel reality of this business. It's not good enough to go viral, folks. It's not good enough. Not even close to it. Not even a percentage of the formula. It's not good enough. So stop the cap. Stop the cap. Because most of you are capping, and the cruel reality is you don't even know that you're capping. You don't even know that you're capping. Or whatever the new world may be in the future. By the time some of you watch this video in the future, and whatever year it may be. See, this right here is evergreen. What I'm recording right here is evergreen content. It's going to be true 20 years down the line. 10 years, 30 years down the line. This right here is evergreen content you need to come back to. When you're in your own world lying to yourself. When people around you in your neighborhood, whatever, especially if you come from a low poverty neighborhood, whatever, whatnot, middle class to lower class, working people, when they're putting you down, you need to come back to, when they're beating you up, you need to come back to this video. You need to get some thicker skin. And you need to learn what could really move you forward, inch by inch, inch by inch. And get a true scope of the reality of your situation and what it's going to actually take you, how long it may take you to get to where you're trying to go. Because I want to say it one more time. You're not going to be a Charlie D'Amelio. You're not going to be a Justin Bieber. You're not going to be the next TikTok star. You're not going to be the next Instagram sensation. You're not going to be the next YouTube star. Like that. This is not going to happen. As long as it's not going to blow up on SoundCloud. It's not going to happen, folks. Not going to happen. So you need to get into what it's going to take to actually make it happen. And you gotta stay committed. And you actually have to be hungry for this. For those of you who are not actually hungry for this, this is not your passion. You don't live, breathe, eat, sleep this music shit. Then you are not going to make it. Make a little 15 minutes of fame, some of you folks, but you're right back in the position that you were before you got a little 15 minutes of fame. And now you don't know what to do with yourself. You're plumb fuck to the side. You don't know what to do with yourself. You done had some fame. You had a hot single, and now you're back on the street, bitch, because you didn't know how the game actually worked. And so now you're crying, and you probably already owe the IRS all its money that you ain't even got no more because you don't know how to manage and take care of money and how to do any of that. So now you're actually not back at square one, you're at square negative 10. That's the grim reality of this business that we're all so desperately trying to make, whether we have a real passion or fire for this or not. You gotta keep the fire, keep it burning hot, get it hotter than it was 10 years ago for you, if you've been at this for a while. And trying to get some real education, progressive education that can move you forward to put you in an advantage seat over all the other clowns that you see blowing up on the internet. Because life ain't fair, and it never been fair, it ain't going to get fair. As a matter of fact, life is just going to keep getting crueler. Especially if you're at the bottom of the totem pole, not just in music. I'm talking about in capitalism. In capitalism, if you are at the bottom of the rungs of capitalism and you are just average, life is going to get even harder for you. You won't be taking. You thought you were taking an ass whooping before? Oh no, my friend. You're about to take an even uglier ass whooping, and hopefully, you don't commit suicide. I don't care. You don't commit suicide. I'm gonna say it on here. I don't care what YouTube does. I just need to come on here and be as honest and real as the world has been to me. But the difference between me and you right now is I didn't let the world chew me up and spit me out. I got tougher. I got stronger. I got more beastly. I got more savage. And that's what you, whether even if you're a female, that's what you need to become. You need to become a beast. You need to become a queen size king, bitch. See, I call myself a crown. A real one. Because that's what I am. I'm a motherfucking king size queen, bitch. And I'm only going to keep getting better and better. And that's how you need to be. It's not good enough to just have talent for those of you who have a fire passion for this. You got to learn other skills to pay them bills and be happy trying to do this music shit that you're trying to do. Keep that 9-to-5 job. Keep your head in the game and get better. This has been Peyton 3.0. The EDM and drum step vocalist, Zombie Supreme. And I'll see some of you on one of my next videos. Bye-bye now. Oh, and don't forget the social media one more time, okay? For those of you who are actually qualified, so you gotta be qualified, you gotta have qualified people in your fan base, or else it's not gonna work out. Qualified, you gotta be into EDM for these particular ones. Except sessionslive.com, because I just basically see mainstream songs you want to hear on there. That's why I join mainstream stuff. Right? But for the rest of it, it is for the EDM community. So anyway, this has been Peyton. Stop being a struggling artist and start being a progressing person in not just artistry, but in life. And focus on your journey and not somebody else's. You can be inspired by it, but don't be jealous by it. Don't feel inadequate. Focus on your journey. Getting to people online that can help push you forward. Be prepared to spend some money on yourself, because that's what it's going to take too, so that you can move forward. Don't be scared to spend that money. Get that money disciplined and managed and budget it. Get you an Excel sheet or something, because that's what it's going to take. Bye bye now.